Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So today I am so excited because I am focusing on planting my fall vegetable garden. Now I am in zone 7B in the southeast US, and that means that this is the time for me to go ahead and get planting. I've got all my vegetables here, and I will be planting all of my vegetables in my elevated planters and in existing containers that I have and pots that I have. I've already emptied all that soil, so I'm starting with fresh soil, and I'll show you guys what I'm using in there and what plants I'm planting and seeds I'm planting as well. And so I think that's it. Let's get to it. The first thing I'm planting here is broccoli, and I've got the tag right here. I'll just show you all the back. And this is the first time that I'm planting broccoli, so I'm very excited to give it a try. I've got collards, which is a mainstay. This is something that I plant every year, as well as Swiss chard, and I'll show you guys that tag as well. And that is also something that I plant every year. I also have romaine lettuce, and I have two different types. I have this red romaine here, and then this Paris Island romaine lettuce that I'll be planting as well. I'm also planting bib lettuce, which is actually one of my favorite lettuces. So I've got quite a few of those to plant, as well as pak choi, which is not something that I've planted before, so we'll see how that goes. And then I also have cilantro, which definitely does better for me in the fall and winter than it does in the spring. So I have a couple of these that I'll be planting as well. And then I have some sage, which I'm actually adding to what I have existing, but I use a lot of sage in my cooking in the fall and winter, so I'm adding another plant. And the same goes for parsley. So I already have some parsley, but I am adding this as well because I use that a lot in soups and stews in the fall and winter. Now I am trying my hand at a couple different seeds this year. First I have this beet early wonder, which I'm very excited about. And then I also have these shelling peas, and this one is green arrow. And that was just recommended by the nursery. I attended a class, and that was one of the ones that was recommended. So I'm going to give that a try. And last but certainly not least, I'm trying garlic, and I will be planting that in a container as well. So we'll see how these go. I did want to show you guys that the instructions on the back do say that you should soak the seed in water for 12 to 24 hours before sowing, but it's not required. I am going to go ahead and do that. So I will soak these first, as well as the beets here. You can see on the back that it says to soak that as well. So I will be doing that with both of these before I plant. Now, one thing that I did want to point out here, and this is by no means professional or something that you need to do as I did, but it just is helpful to me to kind of list out everything that I'm planning on planting and how they need to be spaced, how tall they get, and how much room they're going to take up, and then plan exactly where I want to put them. And it just helps me in being organized. So when I do plant, I know where everything's going and there's no confusion, and it just makes the job go a lot quicker. I started off by completely emptying my pots and elevated planters to get rid of the nutrient depleted old soil that could have disease or pest in it and get them ready for planting with fresh soil. Because I'm planting in containers, I chose potting mix for my soil and added some peat moss and vegetable fertilizer to the mix to prepare my beds for planting. Then it was just a matter of adding my vegetables according to the outline that I wrote out, although I do make some changes along the way once I get in there and see how everything's laid out. While I have planted in ground before and may do that again in the future, I generally prefer to use planters just because of the ease of planting and the location of the planters, which is closer to my house, and I feel like I pay attention to what's going on more in the garden and with the plants, with them being right outside my door. As I mentioned, I'm planting quite a bit of collards and lettuce. I'm in zone 7B in the southeast, and I've found that collards can be harvested for quite some time in the winter in my zone. Lettuce generally lasts for quite a while as well, although I found it doesn't last as long as the collards do. That being said, though, I do plan on trying out a freeze cloth this winter when needed to hopefully prolong the lettuce harvest, and we'll let you guys know how that works out as we go along. Okay, so I have everything planted here. I've got my broccoli in this raised container and some pak choi and lettuce. And then in the two containers behind that, I have my lettuces and my collards. I also have my collards and Swiss chard planted in some pots, as well as my seeds for my beets and my beans. And I actually took some bird netting that I had here just to cover these pots so that nothing would get in there and dig out my seeds while they're trying to grow. And then I have my herbs planted in this elevated planter, and I've got some of my summer herbs here that I did not pull because it looks so good, this oregano, and I've got some sage left and a little bit of parsley and then some thyme as well. But then I added some more parsley, additional thyme, and then my cilantro and some more sage as well. I wanted to show you guys this logbook as well. And this is something that I'm just keeping track of my vegetables in. And so I have my pots written down here and what I planted in each pot. And generally, I don't do this with fall vegetables, but because I am starting some from seed, I decided to go ahead and log those because I'm afraid I won't remember what I planted where. So I've got that logged here and then a very rudimentary diagram of my pots and beds with the numbers corresponding on the page before. And then I also kept my vegetable tags that came with my vegetables, and I just placed them here in this envelope. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so excited to get those vegetables planted. And please do let me know in the comments if you guys are planting any fall vegetables this season and what you're planting as well. Thank you guys so much again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.